You won't believe what this young man did after his strict parents forced him into medical school. What started as a secret double life turned into a powerful journey of chasing passion over pressure. If you've ever felt trapped by your family's expectations, this story will hit hard. Welcome to Best of Reddit Reality, where real stories reveal real lessons. Let's dive in. I come from a very strict and traditional immigrant family. Ever since I was a kid, I knew exactly what was expected of me. Straight A's, perfect behavior, and eventually a career in either law, engineering, or ideally medicine. My parents weren't monsters, but their version of love was deeply transactional. I perform well, they show pride. I express individuality, they shut down emotionally. They sacrificed so much for me, and they made sure I never forgot it. Growing up, I was the golden child. Never rebelled, never stepped out of line. But there was one thing I kept entirely to myself. I loved photography. At 12, I borrowed a dusty old camera my uncle had left behind. I started taking photos of everything: sunsets, bugs, my neighborhood, candid shots of people at the park. Something about capturing emotion in a frozen frame spoke to me in a way biology never could. Of course, I never told my parents. That hobby would have been crushed under the weight of their expectations. Photography isn't a real job, I could already hear my father saying. So I kept it hidden, like a secret lover I only saw after dark. By the time I was 18, the pressure hit full blast. I got accepted into a top-tier pre-med program. My parents were overjoyed. They even cried when I got the letter. And I smiled and said all the right things. Inside, I was quietly dying. The summer before college, I submitted a secret application to an arts institute across the city. I submitted my portfolio anonymously, using a separate email. I didn't expect to get in, but I did. Not just that, I got a scholarship. Now I had a choice to make: lie or live a lie. I chose the lie. I told my parents I was commuting to the pre-med campus every day. But in reality, I was attending the Arts Institute under a different name variation, using my middle name as my primary name on their records. Living a double life was exciting and exhausting. Every day I dressed in med student clothes, packed a few textbooks I barely opened, and left for school. Then I'd take a different train and head across the city to my real classes, immersed in photography. Lighting, editing, history of art, I felt alive. At the end of each day, I'd stop by the library of the med school, take a quick selfie outside the building for proof, then head home. My phone was full of fake med student group chats I created to throw off suspicion. I'd even ask ChatGPT to summarize medical topics in case my dad quizzed me. Yes, it was manipulative, but it was also survival. It worked perfectly for a while. In my second year, I submitted my portfolio to an international photography competition. It was a long shot. I didn't even think about it after clicking submit. A month later, I got the email, finalist. A month after that, winner. They were flying me out to New York for an exhibition. My professors were thrilled. The school announced it on their official page. I asked them not to tag me online, and they respected that. But someone didn't. One of my classmates, thrilled by the news, posted a group photo from the event and tagged me with my full name. It went semi-viral in the creative community. The next morning, my phone blew up. 10 missed calls from mom, 7 from dad, dozens of texts. Explain this. What is this nonsense? Come home now. I'd never felt more terrified in my life. When I walked through the door that evening, the silence was deafening. My dad was sitting at the table, holding printed screenshots. My mom was crying. The yelling started. They accused me of betrayal, of wasting their sacrifice, of being selfish. My father said I had disrespected the family name. My mom begged me to apologize, to drop out of this joke school, and return to the path they chose. I didn't yell back, I didn't argue, I just said one thing. I've never been happier than I am doing what I love, and I'm not stopping. That night, they told me to leave. I moved into a friend's spare room. The scholarship helped with tuition, but now I had no financial support. I picked up 2 part-time jobs, working late at a print shop and weekends at a wedding photography gig. I barely slept. Some days I had to choose between meals and printing costs for my projects. I cried a lot that year, not because I regretted my choice, but because it hurt to lose my family over it. Still, I kept going. I graduated with honors. I got offered a job at a creative agency. Eventually, I built my own studio. Over time, I started gaining recognition. My work got featured in magazines, art shows, even a Netflix documentary. I wasn't rich, but I was fulfilled. I got to wake up every day and create. That meant everything. 3 years later, my parents reached out. Not to apologize, but to talk. Apparently, one of my photos had been featured in a viral campaign, and their friends recognized my name. My dad sent a message. "Let's meet, your mother misses you." We met at a quiet restaurant. My mom hugged me with trembling arms. My father was still reserved, but less cold. They didn't say the words, "We were wrong." But they did say, "You turned out okay." Better than we thought, coming from them. That was basically an admission of guilt. They saw that I wasn't some lost, starving artist. I had built something real. Now our relationship is slowly healing, but it's different. I set boundaries. I won't ever let them control my decisions again. But I've forgiven them because I understand now. They were operating from fear, not hate. They wanted security for me because they never had it. But what they failed to see is that security without passion is just a cage with nicer bars. If you're reading this and you're at that crossroads between obligation and passion, here's what I'll say. You don't have to blow up your life tomorrow. But please don't bury the part of you that feels alive. That part is who you really are. Yes, it's scary. Yes, people might not understand. But living a life that isn't yours, that's the real tragedy. Choose you, even if you have to do it in secret at first, even if it means starting over. Because on the other side of fear is freedom. In the end, he chose himself and found a life filled with purpose, not pressure. If this story inspired you, hit that like button and subscribe for more powerful Reddit tailies every day. And tell us in the comments, have you ever had to go against your family's expectations to follow your dream? This has been Best of Reddit Reality, where your truth is your power